Hey guys, it's Mr. Hanson here again for our weekly introductory video. I'm going to keep this short and sweet today, guys. This week, guys, we are going to be reading Romeo and Juliet Act 2, and you're going to read through Act 3, Scene 1. I know that's going to seem a little bit off, but we only have 4 weeks and we have 5 acts, so that's kind of how we had to balance things out. Um, I've If you go back here, guys, I just want to walk you through where you can find everything you need. If you're reading this online, which I imagine most of you are, Romeo and Juliet audio recordings and text is still here. I just left it here for you to look at again. Here's our schedule. Here's the actual play. If you're listening to this, I think it's one of these recordings. I forget which one it was. But it will give you the extra help that you need as you go through and read this. Okay. Of course, I still have the introductory videos if you've not looked at those yet. I can't emphasize enough, guys, if you haven't at least watched this one, I think it will help you give the basis of the play so you don't have to worry about what's going on as you read, but you can just kind of focus on nuance and appreciate the language that Shakespeare is using. All right. For this week, guys, this is going to post tomorrow morning. That's why it's in gray. All right. I've first posted for you your supplementary material. Now I went through this in order and tried to label it, so it's going to go back and forth this way. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. Guys, as I said before last week, one of the best ways to understand a play if it feels like it's beyond you and the word choice is beyond you, if you just read it straight, it's going to feel really dry. Okay, not really dry. But it's harder to imagine if you don't see it. And again, Shakespeare's meant to be seen. So for Act 2, we've found several videos for you to review if you so desire. We have the Zeffirelli film, which is my favorite. We have Leonardo DiCaprio Part 1 and Part 2, this is the balcony scene. You have the Orlando Bloom version, which is a stage version. You have Romeo and Juliet, a version. And then you have a quick analysis that will kind of walk you through a few things to think about. I thought it was helpful. And this is a scene that we're going to talk a lot about on Tuesday. So if you can get through Act 2 at the very least by then, come with questions. We're going to talk a lot about that. Act 2, Scene 6. This is where Romeo and Juliet get married. We have a Zeffirelli film and DiCaprio again. And again, you're going to just need to count out. Act 3, and this reading has two of some of my favorite scenes in the whole play. This is the fight between Tybalt, Romeo, and Mercutio right after they get married. The Zeffirelli film, again, I think is really choice. We have DiCaprio, we have a Globe version, we have a Haley Stanfield one. And the thing that I love about this scene, guys, is there's so much interpretation that can happen in this. This is another scene that we're going to look at pretty closely on Thursday when we meet. So if you can have that part up to there and read through there. As another note too, guys, if you're having struggle getting through all this, you're really going through it with a fine-tooth comb. If you don't have the time, go through Act 2, Scene 2 really closely and Act 3, Scene 1 closely. The other ones, if you can't get through all the nuances or you're just, if you can only have time to get through it for plot, we'll certainly answer questions and discuss those if you have questions from them, but we're going to look particularly at those first two. So all these scenes are there for you. Oh, and as I was saying here before, I love these films because you have so much interpretation. The Zeffirelli film, you see, like the fight is a lot more playful. Tybalt isn't there necessarily for blood, but just maybe make an example of Romeo, just teach him a lesson, but not necessarily to kill him. That's the feel I get. But when you look at the Haley Stanfield one, Tybalt he's pretty vicious. He's out for blood. He's angry. Okay, even from the get-go. All right. You see a couple of these DiCaprio's going to vary. The Globe, kind of same thing. So I love how interpretive Shakespeare can be, and people can, use it to their own discretion. Okay. So, think about that as you go through that. And of course, guys, if you don't have time for any of this, this is supplementary and it is optional, but I again strongly recommend. I think it will help you immensely. Other things that you want to look at here, guys, we have a discussion question, which I want you guys to answer by the end of the week. In Act 2, we come to know the nurse, the friar, and Mercutio a little bit better. I think these are some pretty predominant characters aside from Romeo and Juliet that we get to have a better insight with. And I think that Romeo and Juliet have a really unique relationship with each of these people. So Juliet particularly with the nurse, and then Romeo with the friar and his friend Mercutio. So for part one, I want you to pick two scenes. So there's two scenes that really focus on Juliet and the nurse, and a few scenes that really focus on Romeo and the friar or Mercutio. Okay, so pick two of those, one for Juliet and one for Romeo, and describe the relationships between these people. Not just generic, oh, they really like each other, but really kind of delve into, like, see how the friar treats Romeo or how the nurse, um, has discussion with Juliet, and just think deeply about that if you can. Okay. Use evidence from the play to support your answer. So just maybe a line or two just to show that you've really looked at it. For part two, I want you to think of a person, and this could be another adult or your friend. I prefer it not be a parent. I think a lot of people are going to acquiesce to this, justifiably so, but I want you to think outside of that for this one. So think of an adult or that's not your parent or guardian or a friend that has really influenced your life, and just describe that relationship. And again, go more deeply into, yeah, my friend just gets me. Think about what is it that makes this relationship unique between you and this person. I think this is a good chance for you to do a little reflection. And you guys, I want this entire response to be at least 2 paragraphs long. So a paragraph for this and a paragraph for this, solid response, okay? And then, of course, you guys have a quiz. This one, again, I want you to read all the scenes. There's going to be questions from virtually every scene that we look at. Again, if you just read it, you should be fine, or at least you can know where to refer back to. This isn't timed or anything, but that's kind of my forewarning. You guys, as a last thought here, we have about 3 weeks left. Some of you guys, I feel, are like a week or 2 behind. Some of you are really behind. Some of you are right on top of what you need to be doing, so that's great. You guys, I really strongly implore you to do everything you can. I know there's a million situations and circumstances that I don't know everything going on, or there's things that are preventing you from being on top of this. But I think a lot of it is just making yourself do the work and being, scheduled with it. Okay, and again, I know that's not always the case, but make a plan here, guys. So like I said, on Tuesday, we're going to talk about the balcony scene, which is Act 2, Scene 2. On Thursday, we're going to talk about Act 3, Scene 1. So just, make a plan. I'm going to read all this stuff, between here and now in our class meetings, okay? Plan on Friday to maybe do your quiz and your journal response, and then you have the weekend off. Okay, and I know you have other science and math classes in gym, so no, I'm going to spend half hour on this today, or an hour on, hopefully not that long, half hour on this today. I'm going to run a lap, and then I'm going to do my science or math. Okay, so come in with a plan, guys. And as usual, if you have questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to help. I'll do a Google Meet with you, or I'll respond to emails. But I hope that helps, guys. This section I'm really excited about. I love this part of Romeo and Juliet. It's really exciting. Use the supplementary material if you can. But anyways, I hope that you guys are having a lovely week, and I will see you all on Tuesday. Thanks.